Greetings, I'm Zak. Now today, I first of all wanted to talk about a particular habit that I've gained when it comes to physical media collecting. Also with my friend Jack, or a particular thing we like to do when it comes to collecting physical media out in the wild. Now, a regular haunt that we will dive deep into the physical media aisles and things and the shelves will be at CEX and HMV in Stevenage. Now, in this particular instance, more often than not, when I do go to these places, I am kind of overwhelmed at times by the sheer volume and amount of titles I am seeing in front of me at any one time, because you kind of go blind to it. It's really weird. I'm not sure if anyone else gets that, but you kind of, any films and titles you had in mind, regardless of whether or not they're there or not, you kind of just forget them and go completely blind to what's actually there in front of you, available at the time. But on this particular occasion, I went prepared. So I was looking, indeed, for... also, I was tasked with finding something for Erin, which was an anime series called Made in Abyss. Okay? Which I had no success in finding. So, I'm going to list now the titles I had in mind to purchase on this particular visit. This was, of course, over the Easter break. As I've said in previous videos, I have basically accumulated quite a selection, actually, over this Easter period, mostly due to sales that have been on either online or, in fact, in the shops. So, on this particular occasion, I was searching for Train to Busan, of course, great zombie movie, the original Godzilla in 4K. I do obviously have the massive, 15 movie Criterion collection off to my right, but in this particular instance, I did also pick up the Godzilla vs. Biollante, which you'll see in a future video, off of Amazon, so I kind of wanted that to kind of complement that, if that makes sense. Mad God, which is like a stop-motion animated movie. Drunken Master 1 and 2. Drunken Master 2, of course, being promoted very, very regularly on my Facebook feed for some strange reason, considering it's all out of stock, so what's the point in that? The Accountant, because obviously got The Accountant 2 coming out soon. Millionaire's Express, a good Eureka title that I've been kind of looking at getting for quite a while, but for whatever reason, yet again, it has avoided me. Iceman Cometh, Planet June, and another movie which I almost let slip, but it's actually my pick for a surprise movie night that I will be doing at some point with Buzz, Jack, Chaz, and whoever else wants to join in with that. I'll have to get a roundup of the numbers, because the last one, which was vampire themed, mixed success. It was mixed success, I'll say. But the next one is comedy sci-fi. So take from that what you will. But I am really excited, and I hope that my particular pick in this instance will be quite good. So there we are. So, based upon that list, how many titles of that do you reckon that I managed to pick up from town? Any guesses? None of them. Now, this is an ever more so... obvious, revelation. Why is it that every time I deliberately want to get something from one of these high street shops, I can never have success in actually finding it? It is quite annoying, I guess, because obviously that is something you're hoping to get. Now, I know that in some instances, of course, I can go online, but I do kind of like physically handling something, deciding based upon me picking it off the shelf, looking at it, the artwork, the information on the back, reading the synopsis, etc, etc, etc. I want to make that decision kind of in person. It's a more favourable experience in my opinion, and I dare say so that's definitely the case for other collectors. But as time goes on, we're in 2025, physical media is a bit scarce when it comes to actually going out and finding places that sell it. Obviously, CX, HMV, these places are available, but probably not to everyone in a close proximity, if that makes sense. That's very much based upon where you are. based. And thankfully, where I am, got 2 CXs, 1 HMV relatively close by, within like 20 minutes drive, maybe, depending on traffic. So overall, in this particular instance, I got some things from CEX and from HMV. All of which I wasn't expecting to get, which is kind of like the continuation of my first point. Whereas, like, I was hoping to get something, but I found something else, which I kind of was happy at finding. So it's kind of like a to and fro. It's like, on one side, I was looking for something and kind of, I don't want to say annoyed, because that's a bit of a strong word when it comes to these type of things. Kind of like disappointed, maybe a tiny like bit of disappointment there that I couldn't find what I was after. However, I was like elated that brought that back up again when I found something that I wasn't necessarily looking for, but I decided to get for whatever purpose or reason. Now, when it comes to the habit of me and Jack going to these places, the technique that we've developed is very much go to CAX first, see what's in there, but don't buy anything, okay? Then, go to HMV, compare and contrast prices on things that kind of maybe caught your eye, and see if the prices are cheaper, to then potentially go back to CAX and pick them up if they were cheaper there. Now, in this particular instance, if we start with... You know what? I'll start with HMV. I'm kind of doing this in a reverse order, but I think the titles from CX are quite cool, so definitely got to stick around for those. But in this particular instance, we all know that over Easter, the Arrow sale was on the Arrow Video website. Quite rightly so. HMV always loves to kind of jump on that deal as well. Is it as good? Is it as good from HMV? No. In my opinion, no, because it doesn't accumulate like the extra points per pound you spend, which I love to do on the Arrow Video website. I think I've got about 300 points pending, which all in all would give me, when added to my current total, would give me about £15 off of my next pre-order purchase, because obviously after the sales end, all the prices basically double when it comes to standard releases and things, and there is no way in hell that I'm going to spend £18 direct from an Arrow Video website to buy a standard Blu-ray. That is just not going to happen any day of the week. But in this particular instance, these aren't the ones I got from the Arrow Video sale online. That's for a future video. In this particular instance, these are things that caught my eye. So, for starters, we had Switchblade Sisters, which I think I've actually seen the trailer for this, and I know it's one of Quentin Tarantino's favourite movies, and it was very much inspiration for him. You can see how you have that one-eyed eye patch lady on the front. That's obviously very, very much akin to the lady. Oh, I can't remember her name. Oh, that's going to annoy me. But her from Kill Bill, which is quite cool. So I think it's definitely worth a watch. I know relatively little about it. I've seen the trailer, I think. So I think it's definitely one to add to that kind of potential watch list. Very much a one to browse along the shelf. I don't know what to watch type of event, kind of decision, a night where I want to watch a movie, but I don't know what I want to watch. If I saw that title on the shelf, I think that would be something I would choose. That's something I would go for. Much like these other titles. So Edge of Sanity, I was going to say Insanity then. Edge of Sanity, starring Anthony Perkins, obviously of Psycho fame. Now, Jack recently did a marathon of the 4 Psycho movies. Outside of that, I had knowledge of this movie, and then I dug a little deeper and found out that it was actually a play on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So that is kind of not what I was expecting from this particular movie or this particular title, as that title really does not give that away at all. The front cover certainly gives a certain impression. Is it the best cover art I've seen on Arrow Video? Probably not. It's probably why I've shied away from it until now. But I haven't seen anything really regarding this particular release, but it does promise to be brand new 2K and 4K scan restorations and things, the whole kit and caboodle. Arrow Video, across the board, usually does a really, really stellar job when it comes to these things. So I think it's going to be one of those titles that, again, I'm going to see the title on the shelf, go, ooh, I'll give that a shot, and then watch that. Because that's certainly one that I think, to be fair, I think Jack would also enjoy it as well. So maybe another movie night idea. Movie night idea there. So, final one. It's kind of like a warm-up, I think. Now, I was, again... additional to my list of things I was looking for on this particular occasion, I was looking for the complete Sartana collection. Now, this is very much akin to the fact that we all know the 4K versions of the Dollars trilogy is right around the corner. We have a fistful of dollars, a few dollars more coming out in May, and then, of course, we have the big one, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, coming out after that. Now, I kind of wanted to warm myself up to that. Now, I have got a couple of other Western titles that you'll see in a future video, but in this particular instance, an Arrow title that has avoided me until now, or two titles, shall I say, will be A Pistol for Ringo and Return of Ringo. Two Westerns, promise to be pretty good. I mean, to be fair, Arrow at times can be pretty hit or miss. I have heard that some of the Sartana films aren't great. I was also looking for the Grand Duel, but however, Sartana, Grand Duel, they weren't there, and it was a great shame. But there you go. You can't win everything. Can't win everything. And as we already know, it does seem to be a bit annoying, especially for the collectors. Maybe that is the reason that we can't find the things we want, because they're the things that everyone else is looking for, because we all have these collections that we've accumulated of so many titles that we kind of narrow the playing field down for ourselves for whatever reason. Or maybe it's just an availability issue. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we can discuss that in the comments. That'd be great fun. But yeah, I've got high hopes for these. Again, know relatively nothing about it, but it would be very nice to kind of squeeze these in before Fistful of Dolls comes out on 4K, because that's pre-orders. It's pre-orders, and I'm really looking forward to that coming through the door. So there we are. That is the 3 Arrow Video titles. Now, also, very interesting fact, 101 Films, for whatever reason, especially in HMV, seems to be like almost always on sale. I'm not entirely sure as to why, but one movie, ironically, that I was looking at potentially getting in from this particular line was the God Monster of Indian Flats, a very low budget monster movie that has a mutant sheep thing in it. Anyway, besides the point, the movie I ended up getting for the grand sum of £5 actually was The Sword and the Claw, otherwise known as Lion Man, for £5. But this is actually a Turkish movie. Now I feel like I keep saying I don't know anything about it, but that's why I get these things. That is why I get movies, is because I don't know anything about it and I want to find out what it is. So this is also known as Lion Man, and a little interesting little fact about this particular release, it also has another bonus movie on the back, in that little yellow box there that I only discovered after the fact when I came home, called Brawl Busters. Cool. Cannot say no to another martial arts movie. It promises lots of gore, strong violence, injury detail, and I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read that one. But potentially worth your time. But it's been on my radar for a while, so I thought I'd give it a shot. So my final one from HMV on this particular instance was indeed a 88 Films. We all know I love my 88 Films movies. Now, especially the martial arts ones. They've got probably the widest ranging selection of martial arts movies of any of these distributors. So it's very much something I like to tap in from time to time. Especially off to my left, sorry. You can see that, I'm not sure if you can catch that on the camera, but essentially I've got my 88 Films Asia collection there. Number 1 to 36, all out of print now. And then I think we're up to the 50s now. Latest editions on that: Kid from Kawatang, Kung Fu Instructor, Shadow Boxing, and To Kill a Mastermind. But akin to that, you also have the Jackie Chan movies. Now, you will see the first part of this in a future video, but I actually got the limited edition version of Phyllis Hyena Part 2. Now, reading into this, it doesn't promise to be one of Jackie Chan's best movies, especially considering he kind of tapped out of filming about halfway through and then used stunt doubles and things to kind of fill in the blanks. But to be fair, it's a title that, again, being on my radar, I have high hope for. It promises a lot by the description, but to be fair, I was happy to add it into the collection as it is an option. If I ever feel like diving back in to the martial arts stuff, I do from now time to time. So yeah, poster. Does it have a booklet? Does it have a booklet in here? I'm not sure. Look. We're going in. Okay, it is a booklet. How many pages? Doesn't say. 5, 15, 19. Okay, about 30-page booklet. That's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. Cool. Cool beans. Cool beans. 2K transfers. All the kit and caboodle. It's got dub tracks as well. That is very much like one of the main things when it comes to the 88 films martial arts stuff, is most of them, for the best part, come with dubs. Now, say what you want about dubs, like them or hate them, I like the option. I like the option to have them on if I want them on. If I don't want to read, I just want to watch something, enjoy it, then I might go for that. Who's to say, or who's to stop me? Who's to stop me, shall we say? Open to personal opinion, of course. Do you like dubs? Let me know in the comments. Okay. So there we are, that is the HMV portion of this particular video done. So we have to move on now to the CEX portion. So we've looked at CEX, gone to HMV, picked up some stuff from HMV, gone back to CEX. What's there? Let's see. Okay. 2 titles, DVDs actually first. This is a movie that I did mention actually in a previous video. I think it was in the Cobb Records Porth the Dog video of the previous holiday that we went on, that a couple of like Nazi zombie-esque kind of movies kind of came up. But this was one that I'd had my eye out to get at some point, and it was one I had watched before and actually did really enjoy, and that was War of the Dead. Now, my memories of this are that it was good fun, and basically I watched it on a portable DVD player with Jack at some point. I think it must have been after some kind of trip or something in the car. But I have good memories of this and would really actually like to revisit this. But yeah, I think it was very cheap. I think it was like £1 or something like that. Then, another martial artsy one. Kind of like, almost like a celebration, I think, of like all the like 70s 80s martial arts movies, the like crazy kung fu fighting movies, or the action movies, shall we say, of old. The last Kimute, Kimite, I think that's how you're supposed to say it. But basically, this has Cynthia Rothrock of course, Yes Madam, etc, 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 and various other named people in there. I think this is very much like a celebration of that kind of old style of like martial arts, like arena fighting kind of movie, if that makes sense. Very much like Kickboxer, Bloodsport, etc, etc, etc. So yeah, that's basically why I got this particular one. I think it was maybe £3. It was definitely worth the purchase because I had not seen this in any other form other than 4K Steelbook, which was completely out of my price range, and I'm really glad that actually for the first time I found this on DVD. So a great little bargain there. So to the final 2 titles, we can either go Crazy and Bizarre, or Crazy and Bizarre, I guess. Okay, I think we'll go with a more serious one. We have Wes Craven's The Serpent and the Rainbow. Now, this, I think in my mind I've been confusing a lot. I don't know for what reason, but in my brain I'm confusing it with Lair of the White Worm, which is of course nothing to do with this. However, with this, I read the back and it kind of grabbed me because it sounds an awful lot like Zombie Flesh Eaters to a certain degree. It talks about like an anthropologist sent to Haiti on the back. Yeah, quest to find a miracle drug, and basically zombies, blood rites, and ancient curses ensue. It sounds like my cup of tea. I hope this is like one of those undiscovered kind of gem zombie movies that I basically haven't had the luxury of seeing yet. So if I'm lucky, this could be a really good winner, and it's got potential. It certainly has. If you have seen this, if you would recommend this, if you think it's a complete waste of time, let me know in the comments. That's what they're for. So the final one, just to kind of round this off on a high note, a low note, I'm not sure. But this is probably the most eccentric title I have heard in a while. So it's an 88 Films. This was my big spend. I will say that. I was kind of tempted with also the Arrow Video release of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Steelbook for £35, but I've steered clear of that on this particular occasion for reasons that may soon be apparent. But in this particular instance, on this particular trip, the last purchase of the day was Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama. Now, initially reading that title, it in some ways appealed to me, and in other ways really didn't. But what grabbed me on this, it wasn't the front cover, it was indeed the synopsis, because what it promised was actually like a creature feature type of deal, which I was not expecting by any means. The other name for this movie is, of course, The Imp, which is completely different from that title. So in my mind, I am equating this very much to the likes of Leprechaun, which of course I really do like. I do have the Region 1 Blu-ray collection of the first 7 or 8 movies? Ooh, I'm testing my brain now. Over there somewhere anyway, which is great fun. Maybe I need to check those out, especially the later ones. I haven't seen Leprechaun in the Hood or Leprechaun Back to the Hood in a good long while, and you probably know why. But there we are. Movies like that do entertain me, and I do have good fun with them, and that's why basically I enjoy watching things like that. But there we are. So yeah. Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama. That is indeed a movie that I have got, and I spent the grand sum of £18 on that particular one. Let's see if I regret it. And there we are. To be fair, it's an out of print one, it's very hard to find. That's basically the reasoning as to why I got it, and I can add it into my collection because, to be fair, I think this is definitely going to be a good one to maybe bring up at a surprise movie night here or there. Think I'm wrong? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, so there we are. Of that particular collection of bits and pieces, I think, to be fair, my favourite pickup there was probably, not gonna lie, Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama. It's a title that just rolls off the tongue, shall we say? But if you have any suggestions of which movie I should watch first or anything, again, let me know. Have any recommendations? Did I make an absolute fool of myself when it came to these particular purchases? Please let me know. Start a conversation. Have any recommendations of what I should have been picking up? Also, let me know, because I'm a big physical media collector. The grand total, actually, I think it's around the 2,470 mark. I might be wrong there, but that is the grand sum of all the movies that I've got on physical media, which is a really exciting number. The grand total, or is it something I'm hoping to get towards someday? Maybe we'll see how it goes when it comes to collecting physical media, because I don't see any signs of me slowing down on my purchases potentially. Maybe I might after this bundle, actually, I might give it a bit of time before I purchase anything too dramatic. But essentially, the grand total, or the world record, shall we say, is 15,000 titles, which, to be fair, doesn't sound that many. Like, in my honest opinion, I was actually surprised that it wasn't a lot more. I mean, to be fair, to give a bit of perspective, I know these are going to be very low quality, and I wasn't expecting to bring these up in this video, but off to the side here, I've got a 50 movie box set of drive-in movie classics. That's 50 movies, 12 discs on DVD. Sure, they're low quality, but that is 50 of that 15,000. See? Not too unachievable in my opinion. But there we are. That's where I stand on that particular thing. See how it goes regarding world records and things, because I'm certainly nowhere near that yet. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, for more physical media and movie antics in the next one.